So I've taken the same photo in the exact same spot every year for the past 10 years of my life in Paris, and I'm going to tell you all about how I've gone from being an exchange student in 2015 to now a rock star and painter in Paris on an artist visa. And I've just moved into this apartment with my French boyfriend, who is a French chef slash ex-chef searching for his next inspiration in life. And our life together is kind of like Emily in Paris meets Daisy Jones and the Six, and I'm really excited to invite you in and show you all about it. But first, we have to start at the very beginning. I'm Celia Marie. I'm an American artist and musician who lives in Paris, France. This is Neil. He's a French cook looking for his next passion in life. And we fell in love on a food tour about a year ago. This is The Rock Star and the Cook, Episode 2, The Evolution of an American Artist in Paris. It's 2015, I'm 20. I've just come to Paris for the first time ever, and I'm about to spend my whole year abroad here. I'm originally from Chicago, where I'm modeling and doing my bachelor's degree at DePaul University in cinema. I've never been here before, even though Paris is already my entire personality. I even worked at the French boulangerie in Chicago called La Boulangerie. I don't know anybody and I can barely speak French. The first semester I'm living with a host family in Boulogne-Billancourt, which you can see here on the map. And people always ask me what brought me to Paris, why did I want to come here? And I often say it's like young Donna in Mamma Mia, how she feels this desire, like her destiny is calling to her from this random Greek island, and I've always felt the same about Paris. Since high school, I've always had this feeling that my destiny was waiting for me here. 2016, I'm 21. It's the end of my year abroad, and I'm desperate to prove how much I've changed, even though I haven't really changed that much. Second semester, I lived in my own apartment in the student apartments in the 14th district near my school. I cut my own bangs on a trip to Amsterdam. I'm trying to dress like a Parisian, but I still don't really know what that means. I've bought my first film camera, and I'm starting to find more of an artistic side to myself, but I don't know really what that means either. I still don't know how to speak French. I think I do, but I don't. And I'm starting to date my French boyfriend, my first boyfriend, and I'm heartbroken that I have to leave Paris, but I'm determined to come back, which you can see kind of in my look. This is where I'm meant to be. 2017. I'm freshly 23, just turned 23. And after graduating, I got accepted into the TAPIF program, and I'm in Paris now on a teaching visa as a teaching assistant in the primary schools. So I'm teaching part-time, and I'm also nannying part-time to make some extra money to make ends meet. So every morning I'm teaching, every afternoon I'm nannying, and it's kind of intense for 5 days a week. I've just moved into a little dream apartment in the 2nd district that I'm renting from my first ever French professor that I had at DePaul for French 101. And this means a lot to me because I always really looked up to her. I always felt really intimidated by her. She's French, she's like everything that I wanted to be, and now I'm living in her apartment in Paris. So after going back to Chicago for my last year of my bachelor's, I'm still talking about Paris all the time. I know I have to live here again. And I also make my first short film that I'm very proud of about my breakup with said ex-French boyfriend. And it's the first time that I start to develop kind of my artistic aesthetic. I've started to understand my voice as an artist, but I still don't know exactly what I want to do with it. My French is still bad, and I'm really lonely, so I end up making a friend group of fellow expats that are here for their gap year abroad, but I know that I want to be here longer, and there's still this search for trying to find my community that's going to be here for real. 2018, I'm 24. I was able to renew my situation, so I'm doing everything that I was doing the previous year, same apartment, same job, also nannying part-time to make ends meet. I'm starting to feel like less of a foreigner and making my first musician friends, ooh. And I'm starting to make more short films in Paris just for fun. And I'm determined to figure out a better visa situation for the next year. It's 2019. I just turned 25. I've been accepted into a French program for international students at the Sorbonne, meant to improve my level of French to the C1 level. It's a pretty intense program for a whole year, 18 hours a week. I'm also teaching at the same time, so now I'm doing my school part of the day and then teaching part of the day. Obviously I have to pay my rent, but I've just moved into my dream apartment that is about to change my life. One of my American friends the previous year was an au pair for this family, and she got to live in the apartment for free while taking care of the kids. But Now they're in high school, so they don't really need an au pair, and they agreed to rent me the apartment for 700 euros a month if I cook dinner twice a week for their kids who live in the same building. It's their maid's quarters, so it's called a chambre de bonne in French, and it's on the 7th floor, even though their family lives on the 4th floor, and it's where the servants used to live. But somehow I have the best balcony in the entire building. In any case, this apartment is about to change my life. 2020. I'm 26. We've all just lived through the first wave of COVID. So I'm confined in this apartment alone for 60 days. I don't see a single human, and I cut my hair. I start painting because the view is so inspiring to me, and I start teaching myself the bass guitar on YouTube. So I order my first amp and I start playing the bass while I'm alone. I thought all of these things would be temporary just during confinement, but my cousin suggests that I read this book called Just Kids by Patti Smith, and I don't even know who Patti Smith is at the time. And it's the first purchase that I make as soon as the shops open again. I walk to Shakespeare & Company, I buy this book, and it changes my life because Patti Smith makes me realize that I can choose to be an artist despite the fact that it means I might be struggling, because it's the thing that I'm passionate about. And I decide I'm going to keep playing the bass, and I'm going to keep painting, and I'm going to live a life as an artist, and let's see what happens. At the same time, I'm accepted into a master's program in cinema at the Sorbonne, so now I have a student visa again, and I'm starting to improve my French because I have no other choice. 2021. I'm 27, still in this incredible apartment. My life has turned upside down. I have just blown up on Instagram for my bass videos. Basically, I do an Instagram challenge in January of 2021 called She Shreds Media, where I play the bass every day for the month of January, and I start posting reels, and my reels blow up, and in a few months I go from having 2,000 followers to 90,000 followers, and everyone from Flea to Austin Butler is following me. I'm like, what is going on? And all of a sudden I'm the bass girl, and now even all of the musicians in Paris know who I am. Obviously, I feel like the universe is pushing me in this direction, and I feel like I can try to pursue music, which is the last thing I would have ever thought that I would ever be doing. Except I'm still doing my master's, I'm still teaching also part-time while doing my master's, which I forgot to mention, and I'm broke. Because as of right now, I've had to put a lot of time into my studies and to teaching English, so. And really, that's my dream, is to be able to be an artist full-time. I think like many Americans who come to Paris, it would be a really cool thing to see what could happen and just to learn and keep creating and keep discovering new things. So, you know, very interesting mix of things happening at the same time. 2022. I'm 28, still living in my beloved apartment in the 5th, feeling like anything is possible. And it's July 1st. Today was my last day teaching. We all sing, all you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. With all the kids, which was cute. And now I'm unemployed again, super fun. I'm still working on my thesis, and it's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And I've just turned in my master's thesis that I had to write, a 150-page thesis in French that I wrote about the Beatles films, because I'm now feeling inspired more by music than by film. I get a 1-year-long visa extension on my student visa, so this is the first time that I'm ever allowed to just do what I want while living in Paris. I get a modeling job that randomly I end up on a billboard on Sunset Boulevard, and this modeling job connects me with a bookshop in Paris called OFR, and I get a part-time job working there at the cash register, kind of like Patti Smith. Ooh, idol. I'm working at the bookshop part-time. I want to be a professional bassist, but everyone keeps telling me that I'm not good enough, that I don't have enough experience. But then I started playing the bass with this girl that I meet named Rennie Lane, who's also an American, and she teaches me everything I know about rock and roll, about having confidence in myself, because I'm still really insecure at this point, and I feel like a huge imposter, and this is an essential connection for the next steps of my life. 2023. I'm 29. I am kind of in shambles because my landlord sells my apartment and the new landlord kicks me out. Which now I realize I don't think was legal and I should have fought them, but I'm on a shitty visa, I'm scared, like I don't know my rights. And I leave my apartment literally shaking, like I can't even see because I'm crying so hard as I hand him the key. I take an Uber to my new apartment and I have to get out midway because I throw up because I feel so sick, because I feel like this place is a piece of me and it's being taken away from me without my will. I just know that the next people that live there will not appreciate it as much as I had. I just did a whole book that I published of all of my paintings that I did while living here. I used to say I love you every morning and every night to this apartment, to the view. I loved it so much, and I know that I've really become and discovered myself because of living in this spot. But on the bright side, this whole past year, I've been working on my own projects full time. I get one modeling job that pays me really well, and so all of a sudden I have the time and energy to focus on art for the first time ever. I decide to start my own band. I'm gonna start a band. Why not? Like with my own music. I'm so excited. I just want to play with people and I just want to play live, and I'm tired of waiting. Printed out a little like songbook for everyone tomorrow with all of my lyrics, and I have 9 songs. One of them's a cover, so I've written 8 songs. I guess it's all just gonna be about, stop doubting myself and find my confidence. And like obviously with my singing, I'm not a super strong or confident singer, but I think a lot of that is in my head. I feel like I've come so far in the past 3 years. It's been almost 3 years now that I bought my amp and started to learn the bass. I just can't believe that I like live in Paris and that I'm like in a band or 2 and I'm trying to live as an artist here. It just feels so cool. Like I just started watching, there's a series on Amazon called Daisy Jones and the Six, and it's just really cool. Like I was getting emotional watching it because it's about like these people trying to make it as a band and stuff, and I just like, the lead character it goes a little bit into her backstory, how she started off as like a band girl, like as a fangirl, and was like very into all these bands, but because she was a girl, like she wasn't really taken seriously, and she never really thought she could go on stage. She like was just in the audience, but she knew deep down that she wanted to be on stage. And like that's how I feel, because I've always, like since I was in middle school, I've always been obsessed with bands, and it was the Jonas Brothers at the beginning, which is so stupid, but like it started off as the Jonas Brothers, and then in university I got Better Taste. But I never really thought it was possible for me to be on the stage, which is why I kind of like I had crushes on musician guys and stuff, and just admired them and was like, whoa, they're so cool, but like I never thought that I could actually be the one up there. And like I'm gonna start crying because it's just like I feel like so proud that I've been able to come this far in a short amount of time, like with the bass, but also like it's been like so long in my life that I think deep down I knew that this was like what I wanted to do. And I just like didn't know that it was like that I could be the one that was the musician. Like I just thought I was going to be a fan. I have my first art exhibition. I have my first book published of my paintings, and overall 2023 was an incredible year for me. But as I take this photo, I've just moved. I'm now living in Montreuil in a shared apartment, and it's a pretty rough time for me. Greetings from my new room. Look at how ugly that is. I'm gonna try to be more positive. Okay, here's the beginning of my new bedroom. Doesn't have a window, it just has the skylight, so you could already tell like that the lighting is not great. I got a haircut. It's really ugly. I don't like it. Man, this is already a really negative video. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, it's like I'm struggling a little bit. It's a big change. It's a new chapter. I feel so homesick for my old apartment, and I feel like a part of me was left there. I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with that missing part of me. It's like, it feels like I've been, like, I just got out of a relationship or something. I don't know. Yeah, that's where I'm at. We're at a little bit of a low point, if I'm being completely honest. All right, 2024. Now I'm 30. I'm still living in this apartment in Montreuil, which I need to get out of, but I've had an incredible year with this band that I've created, Cherie Cherie, and it becomes like everything that I'm passionate about. I put all of my energy into it, and I feel like anything is possible, and I can't believe that I'm singing in a rock band. Like, never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that I had the voice or the confidence in order to do that. And I have met my family. Like, this band is my family. I love them so much. I feel like I finally found my place in Paris, and I feel like just amazed really at moving here for the first time, not knowing a single soul, and now I have this whole community and this family, and I'm doing something that I'm really, really passionate about. And I get approved for my artist visa, a 4-year-long artist visa, which is like the biggest weight off my shoulders, that I can actually focus on art for the next 4 years without getting kicked out of France, which is like everything that I've been striving for up until this point. I am convinced that like this life of like trying to pursue art is what I want to do, and that I feel fulfilled doing that. And even though it means like I'm constantly getting like texts that my bank account is going negative or whatever, because it's really just like paycheck to paycheck, but you don't know when the next paycheck is coming. I don't see any other option. Like, this is what I have to do. And I think a lot of people just don't get that, like that I'm not living this traditional path where I'm like working a job that I can make a good paycheck and savings and everything. I don't know, it's like almost like I've been cursed, and there's no other life path that I can follow. I have to do this. It's the only thing that I'm never gonna, like, I've never felt more fulfilled than when I am like playing with my band, like on stage, and even just when we're rehearsing together and like when we're all hanging out together. It's like the happiest that I think I've ever been in my life. And I'm actually gonna like start crying because I feel like so many people like never find what they want to do. And I think it's such a blessing to like know that this is what I want to do. And I don't take that for granted. Like, knowing what you want to do is like, it's such a hard thing to discover. And so I feel like that's why I have to just keep pursuing it, even though it's like, it's really hard. Like, it is very hard, and it really messes with your brain a lot. And I have my art, and I like made my website, and you know, people don't really seem super interested in like buying it, but I think it's good, and I'm like convinced that it's good, and I'm like, these mean so much to me. Like, you know, I'm never gonna be able to do these again because these are all from like my old apartment, and that's where I felt the most inspired to create. And I know that I will feel inspired in a new place at some point, but I believe in my art. And like, people sometimes tell me that they don't like it, or that my art's ugly, or that I'm not like trying hard enough, but fuck them, honestly, because I'm staying true to myself, and I think that that's like the most valuable thing that you can do as an artist. And here we are. First time I ever came to this boulangerie. I had just seen Notre Dame for the first time, which is behind us now. Me and my friend were looking for a bite to eat. We stumbled upon this boulangerie after walking along the Seine. And at the end of our year abroad, we were the only 2 girls who studied abroad for the whole year. We decided to retake the same photo a second time to show how much we changed. And I guess the rest is history. The tradition started there. Voila. Whee! Fun fact, this is actually the exact pole that I put my poster on when I decided to make a flyer to start a band. Every year there is a band, and it's always very hard to take this photo. I think we got the photo. This is always the most embarrassing moment of my year. It's 2025. I'm so excited to be starting a new chapter Finally, having moved out of Montreuil, I went to the 19th where I lived by Bout-Chaumont for about less than a year, but with a roommate, and now I'm here with the love of my life. This year I went to England with my band and we recorded our first EP that we crowdfunded. I can't believe that we released it. Like all of these things, we recorded our first music videos, which you can watch. We've just been playing so many live shows. We have a manager. We're about to do our first tour, and we're actually about to sign with a label, which is really scary. I'm really scared, but I guess we'll see what happens. It feels like the next step. Can't believe that I've just moved into an apartment with my boyfriend, who I met this year, who I fell in love with. Never did I ever expect that I could share my life with somebody. I really felt like a strong, independent woman. But this is like just a completely new chapter for me. Thinking about like me in 2015, like how far I've come and how much of a community and the life that I've created for myself here. Not to mention the wildest life ever. Like what? Like the fact that I am singing in a rock band still blows my mind. I never thought that I could be a singer, even though it was secretly always a dream. Yeah, I can't believe it. Let's see what happens in 2026. Hey, it's Editing Celia here, and I forgot to mention that for the past 2 years I've also been working part-time as a tour guide on food tours in Paris, and that is how I met the love of my life, Neil. Et voilà.
Hello guys. I'm Neil.
So do you have any hopes for 2026?
Already I have hope for the very end of 2025. I'd like to make a very
Oops, and the battery died. So, if you want to hear what Neil has to say, I guess you have to come back for our next episode. See you soon. This is The Rockstar and the Cook in Paris.